a normal time of the year in the fall on September 1st. We thank you for tuning in. As always, I'm Jimmy Bloomfield. And once again, this is the opener for the women's soccer team in 2021. Today we play host to Case Western Reserve, the Spartans out of Cleveland, Ohio area. 2021 marks a return to them for what's been a more extended absence, as the Crusaders did get to play a little bit earlier this season in those kind of abbreviated conference games that we're going to call a 2020 season, even though it took place earlier in 2021. It's all confusing, but the Spartans didn't really get to play last year. They had a few exhibition games that didn't count towards any kind of standings. They didn't play any conference games as well. They're in a conference that's much more spread out as well. Obviously, the OAC, all the teams being here in Ohio, it's a little bit easier to manage. So the last time they officially played on the record books, 13-5-1 in 2019, they lost to the College of Worcester in PKs in the NCAAs. So that's the last time they were out on the pitch. And for the women's soccer team, for Capital, similar story. Last year, their season ended on PKs as well, losing in the OAC tournament to Ohio Northern. The stats for Capital last season jump off the page. They outscored their opponents 31-2, and despite allowing two goals, they technically lost 3 games because they lost 2 games 1-0, and then they lost that third game 0-0 in PKs. So they had more losses than goals allowed in that 2020 season, which took place in 2021. Are you following me? They scored 3.1 goals per game in those 10 games with the 31 goals. Outshot their opponents 221-75. And they had several large victories, as you'd expect. A 3-0 win against Heidelberg, 4-0 against John Carroll, 4-0 against Marietta, 14-0 against Muskingum, 2-0 against Mount Union, 2-0 against Wilmington and John Carroll as well. And their losses came to Ohio Northern, Otterbein, and then the PK loser to Ohio Northern in the tournament for the OAC. We should have our starting lineups announced here shortly, 3 minutes on the game clock until we are ready to go. So in the meantime, we can run through some of the highlights of the 2020 season in terms of individual standouts. The leading goal scorer was Madeline Woodruff, who is back this season, 6 goals and 2 assists for her. Lexi Snyder, the kind of gadget do-it-all player for the women's soccer team, 5 goals, 2 assists for her last season. Kaylee Stanishevska had 3 goals as well. Several multiple goal scorers returning this season, including Mia Gambaccini and Olivia Rotolo, as well as Gabby Huster. Some of those names obviously seem familiar. Casey King is also back. She was a 2-goal scorer last season for Capital. And in net, coming back this year, is Lauren White. She played in 700 minutes and 2 seconds. She allowed just 1 goal, a .13 GAA in 700 minutes in net. Obviously outstanding. 6-1-1 record for her. She had 14 saves and a 93% save percentage. Lauren White is a junior this year. She's out of Dublin, went to Hilliard-Davidson High School, and she'll be leading the Crusaders in net today. On the other side for Case Western, I mentioned a very successful 2019 campaign. So their seniors played as sophomores that year, and a couple of their seniors had very big impacts on that sophomore team. Number 18, Annika Washburn, was actually their leading scorer. She's a senior midfielder this year, but she was a big part of their 2019 team, as well as senior Christina Hickson. She's a senior forward, and a junior forward, Ania Hartzler, who's actually was a freshman back in that campaign. She is returning for Case as well. We will see a new goalie for them, though. It's sophomore Maggie Storty. We haven't seen her play at the collegiate level despite being a sophomore, so we will technically see her make her NCAA debut here in this one, even though she is a sophomore. It's going to be a confusing season, so bear with us. We have our starting lineups making their way down to the middle of the field here, so we'll kick it over to public address for the announcement of our starting lineups.
rise and remove your hats as we honor America with the playing of our national anthem. And now, fans, let's meet today's starting lineups. First for the visiting Spartans. In goal, sophomore number 0, Maggie Shorty. At forward, number 2, Alina Van Dibbler. At midfield, number 5, Greta Lazara. At midfield, number 6, Lexi Gomez. At forward, number 7, Caroline Coutures. At defense, number 8, Laura Gordon. At midfield, number 10, Mary Meyer. At forward, number 17, Anya Hartzler. At midfield, number 18, Annika Washburn. At forward, number 22, Christina Hickson. At defense, number 27, Kat Rebel. The starting are led by head coach Jen Simonetti. And now, fans, the starting lineups for Capital University. In goal, a junior from Dublin, number 1, Lauren White. At defense, a senior from Westerville, number 3, Cassidy Ryan. At midfield, a junior from Hilliard, number 8, Madeline Woodrick. At forward, a senior from Dublin, number 10, Olivia Rotolo. At forward, a sophomore from Canal Winchester, number 11, Lexi Snyder. At forward, a junior from Pickerington, number 15, Avery Hart. At defense, a sophomore from Pickerington, number 16, Haley Moore. At midfield, a senior from Westerville, number 19, Brooke Shuttler. At forward, a junior from Hilliard, number 20, Aaliyah Berletic. At defense, a junior from Wadsworth, number 22, Mia Gambasini. And at midfield, a sophomore from Westerville, number 25, Sophia Leonetti. Capital is led by Matt Ogden in his 7th season, assisted by Jenna Kloppenstein, Giovanni Salinas, and Morgan Egan.
And once again, welcome back up into the booth here at Permort Field at Bernlohr Stadium. And the 2021 fall campaign about ready to get underway here on the campus of Capital University. The Capital women's soccer team, again, if you missed the starting lineup, in net is Lauren White, and she's joined by Cassidy Ryan, Madeline Woodruff, Olivia Rotolo, Lexi Snyder, Avery Hart, Haley Moore, Brooke Shuttler, Aaliyah Berletic, Mia Gambasini, and Sophia Leonetti. And currently doing the coin toss is the senior captain out of Dublin, Ohio. That's Olivia Rotolo out of Bishop Watterson High School. Not to be confused with the Bishop Sycamore situation. If you haven't heard about that, that is definitely something to look up, with a fake high school getting on ESPN here in, allegedly in Columbus, Ohio. But Bishop Watterson, that's a real school. That's a known commodity here in the area. And Olivia Rotolo, the captain for the Crusaders, for the Capital women's soccer team this season. You might hear me say that a few times as we are in the process of picking a new mascot here at Capital. So kind of the generic team name right now for Capital. And hopefully I get that out of my system early on in this one. On the other side, Case Western, if you missed the announcers there, Maggie Storty is in goal for them. Helena Van Bibber, Greta Lazara, Lexi Gomez, Carolyn Cortez, Laura Gorjak, Mary Meyer, Ania Hartzler, Annika Washburn, Christina Hickson, and Kat Rebel, the starting 11 on the other side for Case Western. And their first action in almost 16 months at this point, before their last game was back in 2019. They lost to Worcester in the NCAAs, a very quality opponent, and this will be a real litmus test early on for Capital to see where they stack up with one of the better teams in the region as well. And again, the 3 players to watch on the other side in terms of goal scorers for Case is going to be number 17, Ania Hartzler, number 22, Christina Hickson, and number 18, Annika Washburn. Washburn was the leading scorer for Case with 14 goals and 5 assists in 19 games played back in 2019. Christina Hickson had 6 goals and 4 assists in 10 games started. She played in 12. And Hartzler added in 5 goals and 4 assists as well, playing mostly as a reserve. Actually, mostly as a starter, I guess 11 of 19 games played. She started 11 of them. Capital in the home whites. They will be moving from left to right to start things off. Case is in the navy, moving from right to left. They start things off, and we are underway here at Permort Field at Bernlohr Stadium. Jimmy Bluefield again with you here, and we thank you as always for tuning in. This will be our first broadcast of the season. We don't have a built-in break before we get a lot of conference games on the web for you, so that you might see a bit of a layoff here, but we wanted to get this game out there, being that it is the season opening game for the women's team, and it's a pretty good one with Case. So we will have the OAC games for you as well. Case has gotten it across midfield for the first time. They swing it down to this end of the field, and that's Laura Gorjak with it. Gorjak is a junior out of Mayfield Village, Ohio. A lot of Cleveland area players, as you'd expect, on the other side for the Spartans. With it now is Van Bibber. And they try to swing one in. It's kicked away by Cap. And off and running now is the Capital offense. That was Avery Hart with the touch there. Hart had a very quiet 2020 spring session, if you want to call it that, with the OAC season. She was not on the field for a lot of it, as White is able to keep that one away from Van Bibber there. And Case wants a little bit of a call there, but I'm not sure exactly what the call would have been. Going back to Avery Hart, she played in 7 games. She did start 5 of them, but that was basically half of what Capital played. And there was a little bit of COVID, contact tracing issues as well, so wasn't really consistently on the field. But Hart had a big, would have been her sophomore season, or freshman season, I guess last year would technically be the sophomore season. And she was a very key contributor to the offense, so it's good to see her back out there alongside Rotolo up top of this Capital attack. But right now it's been the defense that's been the focus. It's a free kick here awarded to Case. It's played back to Gornjak, who sends it into the box, spinning around. Lexi Snyder kicks it away. Woodruff trying to help out from the midfield. How about Rotolo dropping down? And she kicks it out of bounds, but at least gets some pressure off of the Crusaders. Capital, with the success they had in that OAC short season in the spring, they did have several players named to the all-conference teams. And we just mentioned one of them, Lexi Snyder. She was the OAC Freshman of the Year, and she won first-team honors. This one crossed into Lauren White. White was also tabbed as an honorable mention. Emily Mathias and Jade Hoffman, who have moved on as seniors, were on the all-conference first team as well. Haley Moore, Olivia Rotolo, and Madeline Woodruff were all second-team honorees on the all-conference teams. Snyder did everything for the Crusaders last year. She played midfield, she played outer back, she played forward. She's back on the outer back in this one, starting things off, but don't be surprised to see her move up as a forward as the game progresses, and they'll deploy her all over the field. Throw-in goes to Berletic. She's playing on the outside up top here as a attacking midi, I would call it. Kind of a hybrid between, it looks like they have two up top, 3 attacking mids, and then I guess they're using Snyder more as a defensive mid. Let's see how this alignment kind of works itself out. Usually they'll have 3 strikers, so maybe Berletic is playing as the right striker. Up top is Rotolo, and Hart's playing in the middle as a striker. You got Madeline Woodruff as an attacking midi, Shuttler and Leonetti as the defensive middies, which makes more sense. And then as you move through the back line from top to bottom, you'd have Ryan Gambasini playing as a center mid, and Haley Moore, and then Lexi Snyder. So that appears to be the alignment, and that is the case. It's actually Rotolo playing in the middle and Hart playing up top as the striker, with Berletic as the third attacker there. So it is definitely more of a traditional 4-2-1-3 for the Crusaders. And traditional in the sense of that's what they usually play here under Coach Ogden in his 7th year, leading the Capital women's soccer team here. He is assisted by Jenna Kloffenstein in her 5th year, and Giovanni Salinas, who helps out with the goalkeepers. He helps out with both the men's and women's team here. He's in his 4th year. Morgan Eakin is a student assistant on the team as well. I don't see Coach Ogden down there on the sideline, but sometimes he lets Jenna, the assistant coach, Jenna Kloffenstein, kind of be more the vocal person during games, but maybe Matt is not down there today. We'll see if we can spot Augie throughout this one. Capital has it in the attacking zone now. We're under 40 minutes to play in the first half, and still no real action to report in terms of statistics. Capital has 2 fouls, 1 foul for Case, and no shots have been registered by either side to this point. A couple of crosses for Case, but nothing threatening a goal. Throw in for the Crusaders on the far end. And now a corner, I believe, for the Crusaders coming here, and it will be taken by, or for the women's soccer team, and that'll be Cassidy Ryan to execute said corner. Make that Gambasini. She's coming from the center back to take the corner. You don't see that often, but Mia's more of a outer back through her time here at Cap. A really good cross, and it's going to get away from Leonetti. She does get the touch on it, though. That keeps this sequence alive, and here's Hart with it now. Hart using her speed. Spins inside, and will win another corner for Capital. Gambasini will take this one as well. So Gambasini has it in the corner. She is a junior out of Wadsworth, Ohio. And a low line drive cross here. Finds the foot of one of the Capital players down there. That was Ryan. And now a kick from Gambasini high and wide. Capital gets the first threatening chance here. Unable to do anything with it, unfortunately. But they do get a little bit of positive momentum at least. Now Case will counter it up the field, trying to find Christina Hickson, the senior out of Orland Lake, Michigan. And good defense on the high end of the field there. That was Gambasini again. She has been all over the field. Hickson has it again in the corner. Dropping it back now and across. Knocked away by Cap, and then a swinging kick in that's going to head towards Mound Street in the corner. It's nice that we have the ball shaggers back. Last year in the spring, which was earlier this year, I guess I should say, we didn't have that. And there was quite a bit of delays in between some plays because no one was going to get the balls. The goalie or whatever closest defender had to go get the ball. And it added a lot more time than you might think. So we keep the action going now. Capital credited with 2 shots and 2 corners now to this point. Gambasini and Avery Hart registering the 2 shots for Capital. That ball goes over the head of Snyder, kind of turned out to let it go to Moore. And Gambasini smartly drops back to try to help her out. Gets it back to Moore. Back to Snyder, and they try to progress it up the field. Good work by Berletic. Better defense. And it's going to be a Case throw-in. Good work on the other side by Van Bibber and Gorjank. And now it's the opposing captain, Annika Washburn, with it. First time we've said her name. She's out of Brookfield, Wisconsin. Well, not a good touch on that pass, and easily stepping in front there was Cassidy Ryan. Leonetti back to Ryan, back to Gambasini now. They're trying to get this thing upfield. And a critical turnover. And now Case has a real chance. White with the save, and the save on the follow as well. So Lauren White bails out the defense. That was a really bad spot for a turnover, and it was the wrong person as well. Annika Washburn coming down on net. And White makes not 1 but 2 fantastic saves to keep this game scoreless. Now Washburn out of the corner. Drives back in, passes it over. Shot is blocked by Moore. The shot by Van Bibber. And another follow from Moore to get it out of the box and out of bounds to safety. 34:40 to play in the first half of play. Action starting to pick up on both sides, but still looking for our first tally. Woodruff, Leonetti, and Capital will get it out. Just as I say that, Case gets it right back. Van Bibber has it again. Washburn, she might be off. They're going to say she's on. And she crosses it weakly towards the center of the Capital end zone. And Lauren White comes out of the net to scoop it up. Now Snyder with a head of steam. Directing Berletic, puts it way out in front of Berletic and out of bounds. She was moving faster than Berletic there and trying to get Berletic to go, and by the time Berletic was going to get up to speed there, that ball, no chance for her to run that one down. But on the bright side, at least it's all the way down in the opposing side of the field now, and your defense can hold off a little bit and catch their breath after a close sequence there. 33:30 to play, first half. Capital throwing in now. And the throw-in goes to Hart. Hart unable to control. Get Van Bibber back on the defensive side. She's been everywhere today on the other side for Case. And now Case has it again. Snyder with a nice move. Shuttler controls. Shuttler gets it back now to Moore. Moore swinging it around. Goes up the far sideline for Cap, and now sent away by Case. Controlling is Hickson. Cap takes it right back. And now Case sends it back to the keep. And Maggie Storty controls with her chest and now sends it upfield. A lot of side spin on that kick. And Washburn will come back to help steer it back to the defense and get this thing back upfield. Moore has it now. And Woodruff spins it back to Snyder. Moore to her left. Woodruff to her right. Goes to Moore. Moore now to Gambasini. Capital trying to survey something here and find an empty space to attack. 13 minutes gone by. First half, no score. Cross to Breletic. She got a head on it to kind of slow it down a little bit, but it's going to be collected by Case and steered out of bounds. Nicely done there by Cat Rebel. She acted like she was going to play that ball and then just kept letting it roll and roll and roll, and it rolls over the end line. Case now leading in the shot department 3-2. They try to get this out of their own zone here, and they will. This is once again Hickson with it. Hickson has Washburn to her right, goes that direction. Washburn goes right by Gambasini. Washburn now kicks it to the high end of the field. Case trying to keep this attack going. They're going to slow it down now as they have some reinforcements in the midfield. Hartzler collects the loose ball, plays it back up top. Swung around to Gomez. They don't get it to Gomez. Capital got there first. And now upfield go Capital. Hart trying to run this down in the corner. I don't think she's going to get there. She won't. And that'll be a goal kick. Taking a look ahead at the Capital schedule, Carnegie Mellon is next. That's going to be a game over in Pittsburgh on Sunday. 3 o'clock start there. Some non-conference games against Grove City and Mount St. Joe's next weekend. That's on the 10th and the 11th. And those are all home games if you want to come down and see the game for yourself. And 7 o'clock starts for both the Friday and Saturday game under the lights. They also play Ohio Wesleyan here at home on the 15th, which is a Wednesday. And then 2 more road games, Hanover and Hope on September 18th and 25th. 1 more home game with Wittenberg on the 28th before OAC play starts on October 2nd, a 1 o'clock kick against Baldwin Wallace to start things off. The Crusaders will play 5 of their 9 home games, or 5 of their 9 OAC games at home, so that's nice. Always nice to get the extra home game when you play an odd number of games. Half the time, obviously, they're at home for 5, and half the time they're on the road for 5, and always nice to get the extra home game in there. Woodruff coming all the way out to contest here, and Woodruff does a great job. Rotolo helps out, and somehow Lexi Gomez still has possession, and now a late whistle calls the foul. So Case will have a free kick from about 40 yards away, and it'll be executed by number 17, Ania Hartzler. Hartzler, a junior out of Goshen, Indiana. And she sends it towards the front of the box. It's headed by Moore, collected by Breletic. Breletic has Gornjak on her back and has to play it back to Snyder. Snyder finds Shuttler. Shuttler weaving her way through some traffic. Drops it back to Breletic and kicked out of bounds off of Case. So we'll take that. Nicely done. And Capital can relax a little bit. 28-15 to play. Still no subs on either side, but we should start to see a few trickle in here as we move into the middle stage of the first half. Case will spin it upfield the other way. Possession's been, I would say, pretty even. It might be favoring Case a little bit, but when Capital has possession, they've had it deeper. And they each have had a good scoring chance. Swing and a miss there from Woodruff as the ball was kicked away from her. Nice spin move by Breletic. Breletic tried to feed one through to Hart, unable to do so, but I like the idea on the through ball. Ashley Jacobs, the freshman, will come on next for Case on the next dead ball to be our first sub of the campaign. kicked out of bounds, but obviously will need to be a throw-in for Case for the sub to come on. And before the game, we were notified that Helena Van Bibber had a little bit of a leg issue that she's been working on and was in good enough shape in pregame to make the start. But Ashley Jacobs was circled as kind of an alternate starter in Van Bibber's place should she not have been able to go. So it would not be surprising to see Van Bibber come out for Jacobs, but we'll see what this actual substitution is here as free kick for Washburn. She's actually going to take it quickly here so they don't get the sub on. Hartzler tries the high end of the field above the far hash. This is Cortez with it. She swings it on, and it's kicked out of bounds by Gambasini. That should bring on the sub finally here. It will be, once again, number 3, Ashley Jacobs, a freshman out of Webster, New York. And as I anticipated, she will replace Van Bibber. So they were able to get a solid 18 out of Van Bibber there, 18 minutes that is. And obviously keeping an eye on her fitness here early in the season. She looks like she's going to be a key player for them. She's had a very active start to this one. Back to the action down on the field. Washburn's kick miskicked. Cap might have caught a break there. Washburn heads it back out. The attack not quite over here from Case. A long shot from about 30 yards out. And that one goes wide. Up the high end of the field now for the Crusader, or for Capital. Played up to midfield at the Capital crest, and it's back to Woodruff now. Woodruff to Rotolo. Rotolo trying her best to get there. Oh, there's a late push. And they're not going to call a foul. Wow, that ball was out of bounds and kind of a late, I don't know if you want to call it a hip check there. That's interesting. And Rotolo kind of got dumped there by Rebel, and she's got a few things to say to Rebel as she lines up for the next sequence here. I would not be happy either, and I'm surprised there wasn't even like a warning or something issued from the official going over to her to say, like, hey, you know, you can't do that. Capital will have a corner kick now. This is their third of the game. Gambasini has taken the first two. She'll take this one as well. And went with a kind of a low line drive last time. This one's got a lot of air under it. Popped into the air twice. Gambasini trying to run down the header. And it's going to be collected by Maggie Storty. Storty will roll it down. And Rebel looks upfield before executing the kick to Gornjak. And now controlled by Ashley Jacobs. She's got the freshest legs of anyone out there, as she just came on in the last few minutes. Jacobs, pass in the way there was Snyder. Now Snyder takes it away again from Cortez. Working with Moore. Pinballing it around to Berletic. Shuttler clears. Rotolo got the touch on it. It's going to go out of bounds. Throw-in coming the other way. Thrown in quickly by Gornjak. And Case has liked to keep the pressure up here. They're passing it in quickly, kicking their free kicks quickly, and trying to keep the pace up in this one. Berletic out in front of Woodruff. Woodruff's got some space. Woodruff's got a lot of space, and there's a lot more space up at the top, so that's where the ball goes. And that's going to be a foul. Cap will have a free kick now. Gambasini will take it once more. Leonetti did a good job leading the charge there, and the pass to the high end of the field was to Hart, who had a lot more room than Woodruff, but the pass was not the cleanest there. It was a little bit slow in terms of the speed to get over to her, and it kind of allowed Case to set back up. And then once they did set up, they tackled the Cap offense. Free kick now. Gambasini sends it to the far post. No one's there for a touch. Ball was a little deep. Hart, I shouldn't say no one was there because Hart and Berletic were in the area, but no one was able to get in a position to execute a kick on net, and that's because of how deep the ball was kicked in there. 21:50 left to play. First half. Still no score either way. Update on the stats in this one. 4 shots for Case, 2 for Capital still. Caps had 3 corners and 2 on the other side. 4 fouls for Cap, 2 for Case. That's really all to report at this point. That ball was out of bounds. It was off of Rotolo, and then they let it keep going, and Rotolo kicked it out again. Now it's kicked out by Berletic this time. And once again, we see Case working at that quick pace to keep the ball on the turf and keep the play in action. Gambasini to Ryan. Ryan stops and cycles it back. Washburn adding some pressure onto the back line here. More now to Snyder. Snyder looking to the middle of the field with Berletic now a give and go. It was behind Snyder. Woodruff's has it. Snyder's going to drop back instead of continuing her run. Now Hart has it. 3 against 1. Able to get some help from Rotolo. That's a good cross. High into the field. Ryan trying to do everything she can to get a foot on that one and keep it alive. And she tried to play it up into the air and ended up going out of bounds. So Cap had something there, but again, it doesn't develop into an opportunity. And now Case will try to pass it upfield rather than kick it far on the goal kick here. Berletic with good pressure. Jacobs has it now. Jacobs, bad pass, kicked it behind Hickson. And Capital's defense will easily recover the loose ball now. Snyder sends it upfield. Good back heel find to Leonetti. Leonetti has Hart again. Tries to feed Hart. And Hart goes down with a tumble. Kicked out of bounds by Case. No foul, but Lazara is the last to touch it there. Throw in coming upfield now. Pass to Woodruff. Woodruff kept one defender off but was unable to fight off a second. And now Washburn kicks it down to Jacobs. Oh, she had tons of room, but that pass is going to steer her to the left, and now Capital will be able to get back defensively. That is a missed opportunity on that pass down there. Hickson now still keeping the play alive, but Caps recovers. White has it in net. And that's the end of that threat. Jacobs had 30 yards of space, at least down here. And that pass caused her to change her direction, have to go to her left to feed that ball. And as she went to go get it, obviously Capital's defense was able to get back. Here's Hart launching one from outside the 18, and excellent job to control that from going out of bounds by Kat Rebel. She's been phenomenal, the senior, out of Holmdel, New Jersey. Lexi Cortez off, and in her place is Molly Wellen. She's a senior midfielder. So 2 subs so far for Case. Cap is rolling with their original 11. 18:04 to play, first half. Still no score. And Case trying to get the pressure up here now. Bringing it forward is Hartzler. They have to play it back. Hickson ran off sides there. Smart by Hartzler to not go that direction. Washburn can't catch it on the weak side here. And that's going to go out of bounds for another goal kick. White's made 2 saves in this one. 5 shots total on the other side now for Case Western. And technically, actually, it looks like White was only credited with 1 save. The other one was not credited as a shot because it probably was going to hit the side of the net there in that first sequence Hart with a nice header to keep that in bounds. Rotolo to Hart, back to Rotolo. It's spinning funny there. Rotolo able to play it, and it's going to be kicked out of bounds by Case. Rotolo and Hart have been on the same page. Now Capital making a line change here. Got quite a few subs coming on. See if we can catch them all here. All right, so the 4 coming on are Abby English, Nicole Ogden, and Francesca Lungano. All are 3 freshmen. And then Kaylee Stanishevska, the freshman, or the forward, that's the F there I'm looking for, the senior out of Gehenna, nearby local product. So Francesca Lungano is playing on the outer back on this side of the field, which means Lexi Snyder has moved up to a forward, not as a shock as I anticipated that happening earlier. So Snyder, Hart, and Stanishevska are the 3 attackers now. In the midfield is Ogden and Woodruff, and Leonetti as well as your 3 middies. And then on the outside, it's the same rotation of Cassie Ryan up top. And then in the middle back, Gambasini out, and in her place is Abby English, the freshman out of Worthington-Kilbourne in Columbus, Ohio. So 4 subs, 1 in the forward, 2 defenders technically as Snyder moves up to the front line, and then changing the midfield as well. So juggling the lineup a little bit here and using the versatility of Snyder. Here's Leonetti with it. Leonetti continuing to control, trying to swing it to Stanishevska, nothing there. Stanishevska also one of the captains for the Crusaders. You might notice the pink on the sock there. I'm not sure how well it's picked up from the camera here, but the little band on the sock for both her and Rotolo, and one captain replacing another. Yeah, she is now the center of the attack for the Crusaders, or the Capital Women's Soccer Team. I'm sorry. Played upfield, and Washburn headed away. Leonetti getting it upfield now. Hart faked going upfield and played it back, and now it's taken away by Case. Not a lot of numbers here, but they might get a shot off. At least they won't, as their attack was retreating to get back, and it kind of worked into Cap's favor there. Now a deep shot/pass towards the high end of the field goes out of bounds. Not sure what to call that exactly. So Cap slows things down, and I think that's the right move right now. Capital usually a team that likes to play quick, especially under Coach Ogden. But Case is clearly the team that wants to go out and turn this into a track meet, so I think the smart move is to slow it down. And that seems to be what Cap is doing here. Maybe a little bit out of their comfort zone, but definitely out of Case's. Hart goes down, no call. Washburn on a run. That's a huge touch from Moore to save that through ball. Now Cap trying to counter. And this is where you can take your chances. In the counterattack, you can move quickly, but other than that, I would definitely move towards slowing it down. Look how quickly Case gets it down into the offensive area now for themselves, as that ball was played around midfield by Cap, and all of a sudden it's 30 yards upfield the other way. So the track meet mindset getting Case a little bit more aggressive, keeping possession away from their net. And if you're Cap, you've got to just kind of hunker down, play good defense, and wait for the misstep. Because the passing from Case has not been that crisp. We mentioned the one pass down here to Jacobs that probably should have led to a scoring chance but didn't. And I think that's where you've got to just kind of sit back, wait for the mistake on the other side. It's playing a little bit passively, sure, but once they make that mistake, that's when you get it and go. Solid midfield defense from Case. Now Washburn takes it away. Washburn's quick, and she was tripped up. Washburn. Oh, that's a really late whistle. Wow. I was going to say Washburn looked like she was tripped up there by Ogden. And then she pled to the official who turned around and made the call. It's not like she was playing an advantage there. If you're going to make the call, make it. That's my take there. Anyway, it results in a free kick now for Hartzler on the other side. Let's see if Case can take advantage. Hartzler swings it into the box, headed away by Cap. Stanisovska collects and sent upfield by the Crusaders. Controlled by Greta Lazara with her foot, almost like she caught it with her hands. And the Capital women's soccer team on the counter now. Woodruff. Woodruff has options left and right. Staniskovska to the left, Hart to the right. She kicks it to Case, and it goes back to the keep. Woodruff, I think, was caught in the middle there of trying to figure out which way she wanted to go with it. And unfortunately, no shot attempt there for Cap, as coming away with it is Case. So now, Cap trying to counter again at midfield. That's a missed kick, but it will get to its target. And Washburn, just a skilled player. Excellent footwork there. And they play it out in front of the most recent sub for Case. That's Brianna Van Zanten out of Stevenson High School in the Chicagoland area, Buffalo Grove, Illinois. Katie Davis will check in now for Case, replacing Caroline Cortez. Still no score in this one. It is the Crusaders and, I'm sorry, it's Capital and Case Western here with under 10 minutes to play in the first half. Played all the way back to the keep once again for Case here. Another trio of subs getting ready to come on for both sides. It looks like Gabby Huster and Casey King will make their first appearance for Cap, and on the other side it's going to be Sydney Schenk. And those subs are coming on. King, a senior, Huster a junior. Huster replacing Woodruff, King replacing Snyder. King played some outer back for Capital last year. And it looks like she's playing more of her natural striker position now on the left side of the attack. Huster in the midfield. Corner kick coming for the Spartans now. Washburn left it for a teammate now, looking for a pass. That's a great ball to Washburn on the short, and her shot is blocked by King. There was two defenders there from Capital in the passing lane, and it kind of just got chipped over those two players. And Washburn found it, takes the shot, it got blocked. Good recovery by Capital. Now a more traditional corner. White knocks it down. White collects. And Capital will fight for another day now. 7:30 and counting down here in the first half to play. No score in this one. Good turnout here at Bernlohr today. It stands about, let's say, half full at this point. and it's kind of tough with the social distancing going on to see exactly how many we have here, but we hope you join us down here next weekend. I mentioned 2 games here at Promort Field at Bernlohr Stadium, 2 non-conference matches for Capital, and I'd love to have your support down here. A couple of people sprinkle in and over the fence line, which was a COVID development that we saw a lot of. People just kind of hanging out outside the fence line area and kind of creating stands on both sides, and maybe a new kind of tradition, I guess if you want to call it that, potentially starting up here with the fence line crew. 6:15 to play. Huster going wide for King. King has fresh legs, but they're not going to help her get to that one. Too far out in front. Long throw in. Case gets the ultimate collection of it. Only Wellen trying to spin one upfield that goes off of Case. So another throw in now. 5.5 minutes. Crowd has entered kind of a lull here as the pace has slowed down. And again, I think that's going to favor Capital. Case is trying to turn this into a track meet and get out on quick counters and quick attacks and get the ball upfield quickly. And Cap is reacted to that, and that's usually kind of a play style for Capital. Maybe not to this extent, but they've slowed this down. Trying to get Case a little bit out of their comfort zone into making some mistakes, and now you just play solid defense and hope you get that mistake and pounce on it. You might not get that mistake here in the final 5 minutes, 4 and change, but keep this style up. You'll have plenty of opportunities in the next 45. 4 minutes left. Case will try to get a quick counter going. Hart has done a nice job playing defense here the last sequence, keeping play in front of her, which means it's way in front of her defense. And Case had enough of this side of the field. They try the top end now, and they swing it to the high end once again, and there's Hart once more playing D. Hart, Rotolo now to Huster. Huster looking behind, drops to Leonetti, swinging it all the way back to Moore. Moore looks left, looks right, goes right. And here's the freshman Logano with it now. Logano back and forth with Hart, still loose, and Case now has to clear it away, way downfield. Hart, controls. And Leonetti smartly comes back to that pass and is able to keep possession here for Cap. Washburn steals it. Numbers the other way now for Case. A fake pass, a shot, that's going wide. Shot there taken by Sydney Schenk. She is again a freshman out of Highland Park, Illinois. One more sub as Abigail Menendez comes in, and she replaces Molly Wellen. 3:11 left to play. First half action, 0-0 our score. The Crusaders, or the Capital women's soccer team, with still just the handful of shots, those 2 that we had in that one sequence. 8 shots, meanwhile, for Case, but this game is more even than the 8-2 shot disparity would have you believe. Caps had their chances. And even though there's been 8 shots the other way, not all of them are quality. Speaking of quality chances there, King on the far post on the feed from Hart, unable to get the final touch on that into the back of the net. Going to be a goal kick for Case. The volume attack for Case versus the quality attack from Capital, it's kind of been the story. And a chance like that for Capital doesn't count as a shot in the stats, but obviously might have been one of the closer calls today for our first goal. So, you know, it is what it is in terms of the stat sheet, but This is a very evenly matched game both ways, and we've seen good bits of offense and defense from both sides in this one in the first half. 2 minutes to play, and we'll see if we can find someone to break this tie or if we're going to head to the break tied up in a scoreless 0-0 ball game. .125 for Kaylee Stanisowska. Gives it over to Huster. Huster feeds it down the hash mark. Washburn takes it back again. 1:15 to play. Jacobs spins to the middle of the field, spins back, and taken away. Nicely done by number 12 there, Nicole Ogden. Ogden not able to get to that loose ball, though. Washburn now heads it the other way. Under a minute to play. Back penalty now and stopping Washburn. On the outside there was Lungano. Helps the defense get back. Schenk. Left foot, and in front of Washburn is a sliding White to get in front of the cross and prevent the scoring opportunity. Punted upfield. 30 seconds to play, first half action. We'll see if Case has one more run in them. 23 seconds. They're going the wrong way, retreating, but now starting upfield once again. 18 seconds now. Jacobs. I don't think they're going to have anything here. 13 seconds. And with now 9 seconds, they'll send it to Jacobs wide. 5 seconds. It's going to be kicked out of bounds. That'll do it. First half of action. Soccer's back here at Bernlohr Field at Bernlohr Stadium. We haven't seen that first goal yet, but feels like one might be coming for either side here. A very evenly matched first half. And we'll take a 15-minute break. When we come back, we will have more soccer action for you as Capital 0, Case Western 0, and we'll be back at 15. No score here at Permort Field at Bernlohr Stadium. Capital 0, Case Western 0. I'm Jimmy Bloomfield. Thanks again for tuning in tonight. The season opener for the women's soccer team here, and we'll switch sides and try to find a goal scorer on either side of this one as we move into half number 2. Capital will move from right to left, and Case will move from left to right as we again switch sides. In the first half, 45 minutes played on each side, 3 saves for Lauren White, no saves made by Maggie Storty. Cap was outshot 9-2, out corner kick 5-3, but they're winning the foul game 7-2. So take what you will from that. And again, I don't think the stat sheet tells the whole story, as I was saying at the end of the first half. It's been pretty even, and both teams have had some chances. Both teams have squandered some chances. Both teams have had some good defensive plays. And Lauren White's been amazing, as always, for Capital. That's kind of your first half summary, if you will. Taking a look at who's out there for the Capital women's soccer team, it is a little bit of a different alignment, as Snyder will stay up front as an attacker here. So playing on the outside is Cassidy Ryan, and on the other side is the freshman once again, number 27, Francesca Longano. Gambasini and Moore as your defenders in the back. Shuttler and Leonetti playing midfield with Woodruff. And it's again up top Snyder, Rotolo, and on the far end of the field, I believe that's Berletic, so Avery Hart getting a breather to start off in the second half. I'll confirm that in a second. The numbers are hard to read for Cap until they kind of turn around, because they are white on white on the front and still kind of white on white on the back, more of a gray on white, I guess you could say. That is Berletic out there on the far end of the field. They're trying to work a pass over to Aaliyah. She is unable to get to that one first, but Capital puts the pressure on to start things off. Case is able to clear out pretty safely here. Temperature has cooled down here in Bexley, Ohio. We are just east of Columbus. And as the sun has set, it's actually kind of a nice breeze now into Bernlohr. Yeah, not too windy or anything. You don't see any of the trees moving in the background here. Cap will try their next attack. Ryan's going to kick that one out of bounds, trying to find Snyder. Lexi Snyder again, OAC Freshman of the Year, just plays all over the field for Capital. She was huge for them last year in the OAC season. I guess I'll refer to it as. Snyder gets the steal here, goes down a hard tumble, and a foul called. She gets the whistle, and see what Cap can do with this now. Snyder will let Woodruff execute the kick here from exactly 25 yards from the end zone. Obviously off center here to the left, to the right of the keeper. Lining up the wall right now is Storty. And trying to get them way over as they were too far to the left. Now Woodruff sends it towards the post. Had a nice curl on it, but it curled wide. Well, Capital's been the early second half victors at this point, if you will, by keeping the pressure on here. It's only been 3 minutes, but they've already generated a few chances for themselves, and I haven't even had to turn my head to the right yet in front of White. That ball miskicked, and trying to save it is Ryan. She does, actually. Nicely done. Ryan will look behind her now, spin up field, twist it around, trying to find Snyder, throw in for Cap. A creative way to get it upfield, if you will. And now that ball's loose in between the hashes, controlled by Case. Washburn plays it back. Washburn heads up field. They're trying to find it to get it to her. And that's not going to be an option, so they go down the near sideline now. Cortez back out there for Case, and she misdribbled that, trying to put it out in front of herself, but she did too far. And it goes out of bounds through the end zone. Up the far end side now, and a tackle there sends a Crusader down to the turf. Capital has another chance to get the pressure on the other way. Low line drive kick. Woodruff ducks out of the way, and it finds Rotolo, who controls. Rotolo sends it into no man's land, out in front of some of the teammates there on the right side of her. And miskicked again out of the net there by Storty. It goes out of bounds, and Capital gets a free possession, staying alive out of this. And it's taken away by Case now. Gomez trying to get it up to Hickson. Hickson had all kinds of pressure on her, and instead they work it around to the high sideline. No numbers here for Case, but they're still pushing on. Gambasini steps in front of that pass. Gambasini sends it upfield, and it's again Case with it now. And that one is swung around to the middle of the field. It was controlled for a moment there by Cortez, and now it spits out to White. White dribbles a few times, now kicks it to the high side of the field. That's Longano up there. And Francesca sends it up the far sideline, just keeping it away from her net. Good passing here from Capital as they work this one upfield now. No, a good steal from Case in the back line. Another turnover deep in their own territory. Spun in on the cross. It's controlled. A fake shot, and now pushed off the line, and Capital is able to get it clear out of there. Snyder, nothing on the counterattack, but at least Cap doesn't give one up. Case keeping the pressure on here. The sequence continues. A clear to the back line. And once again, Case is there. Greta Lazara now. Lazara to the far side of the field. Has Meyer there. Meyer bounces it kind of uniquely to herself and keeps the sequence going once again. Played back, and a foul called. And it's going to be on Rotolo. She doesn't understand. And a quick play again from Case trying to keep the pressure up. Rotolo takes it away, and after a few passes, it's kicked away from Rotolo. Nice, strong kick from Ryan to get it upfield. Case trying to recover the ball in that real estate. They will. Oh, there's a hold, sir. Oh, and then they call it against Capital. Wow. Oh, that's a bad call. Madeline Woodruff was held, literally held, trying to get to that ball. And somehow they call that against Capital. I'm not even sure who the foul was on there for Capital. And they didn't see the hold. It was clear on our side, but the official was on the high end of the field, so maybe they didn't have the right angle to see the hold, but Woodruff was impeded for sure. And I don't know how that was a foul against Capital. I didn't even see a foul there on the white jerseys, but nothing comes from it in terms of harm. But who knows if a free kick there, how that changes things. Now Case has a counterattack. It's into the back of the net. Another key takeaway deep in scoring territory for Case, and two defenders, Moore and Gambasini, try to cut off the angle. And when you're in that kind of scoring territory, it's just too easy. Case is up 1-0. They find the first goal of this one. Rotolo trying to rally the troops here before she sends the ball back into play for Capital. And the Spartans lead this one 1-0. They're going to reset the clock here and put 20 seconds back on the clock. That's the reason for the delay here. So 34:45 to play. That lines up exactly with the goal there for the Spartans. And now Capital is playing a little bit of catch-up here. Down 1-0. Ryan gets the pass from Gambasini. Gambasini has not been a center back through her time here at Cap. It's usually an easy transition to go from outer back to mid. I don't want to say it's too easy of a transition, but we see it happen a lot. You know, your more senior, sturdy defenders are going to be in the middle, and then you're either pacier or your defenders that are solid but not good enough to be in the middle yet because of what's in front of them on the depth chart. Usually you'll see your younger freshman or sophomore defenders on the outside, and if they're more of a speed player, they'll stay out there. If they're not, then they'll come up or they'll move to the middle once you know, the older players in front of them retire off, and you kind of graduate off, I should say, and kind of keep that natural rotation going. Gambasini's background is a little bit different than that. She's played more of a midfield role here at Capital. She has played some defense, but not really a natural middle defender. And Cap's kind of been looking for a player there for the last few years, honestly. With Moore, you kind of have your one solidified one there, and then the second has kind of been an interesting rotation. Lauren Bowe kind of took over as the other main center back for Capital, and that kind of happened in the middle of the OAC season last year, earlier in the spring. And Bowe's a senior, so she's no longer on the roster, obviously. So Capital's looking for something at the position, and Gambasini is the first that they're trying there. Annika Washburn was given credit for the assist on the goal for Christina Hickson. As I mentioned, those were two to keep an eye on the other side. So 22 from 18 to put in the back of the net. And now slow to move here is Snyder. She's okay, fortunately. And the Capital trying to get some positive momentum here. Avery Hart's going to come back on for Capital. Two subs the other way. It's Jacobs and Sydney Schenk checking back in. Snyder comes off for Hart, and might be because of the, I don't want to call it an injury, but the little situation there where she was kind of a little bit slow to move there. And she is kind of gingerly walking towards the sideline. I think she's going to be okay, obviously, long term, but she'll get a short breather here. Hart comes on into the attack now, and you have Hart, Berletic, and Rotolo up top with Woodruff in the midfield. That's a really solid scoring combination. And let's see if they can tie this thing up. Ryan coming up from the outside back. Ryan rolls it back behind her. Here's Leonetti. That's a good through ball to the outside. Lungano, the freshman, moving up with it now. On the far sideline, Lungano sends it in. It's over the net. .31 to play. Case looking for their first official win. They had some exhibition wins in the spring, but their first official win since 2019. Again, this is a quality opponent. They went 13-5-1 in 2019, and a lot of those players from that team are still with Case, including the senior Annika Washburn. She was a junior that year, and the goal scorer Hickson was a big part of that 2019 team as well. It was a very good young team, and it looked like they were headed in to the right direction in terms of the future of that program with such young players already producing for them. And COVID kind of set them back as they didn't really get a chance to compete last year. And those players are now seniors, losing their junior year pretty much. And there might be the hardship waiver and all of that. So maybe we'll see them back as, redshirt seniors, or if you want to call it that. But we'll see if they're granted years of eligibility and how that works, as a shot here gets blocked out of play by Leonetti. But kind of a frustrating situation for Case, who was certainly headed in the right direction, and they lost a year of what could have been a really successful year for them. Couple players tumble, and Capital is able to get the call here in their own box. The Crusaders, or the Capital women's soccer team as they're now known, will take over on the free kick. I believe that was Leonetti who went down there. That was. And Leonetti appears to be okay, fortunately. Here's Washburn with it now. Washburn, couple of kicks upfield, nothing much doing there for Case, but now they've got something cooking. Into the box. White is able to get to it first. Takes it away from Hickson, takes away a scoring opportunity. Under 29 minutes to play. Case is up 1-0 and trying to get more. Oh, that's kicked off teammates there as Moore gets kicked by the ball. So Case keeps the possession alive after an attempt to clear. Thrown up into the high side of the field now. I'm able to turn my head to the left as it's been a lot of Case now recently on this side of the field. And they're giving a card now, I believe. Maybe not. It might just be one of those situations where you talk to the players and let them know what's going on. No cards. They did stop the clock to have that conversation. Interesting. 27:45 left to play. First game of the season here for Capital. Trying to start on the right side here of the record. They, again, last year, kind of a weird stat, if you want to call it that. In the 10-game OAC season they played last year, they allowed 2 goals all season, but they lost 3 games because they lost in PKs in the OAC tournament in a 0-0 game. So they outscored their opponents 32-2. But they had 3 losses. It's very bizarre. Lost 2 games, 1-0, and then again the scoreless draw that they ended up losing because it was a tournament game, had to have a winner. So kind of a weird, quirky way and kind of a fitting way to have a 2020 season played in 2021 with just 10 games. And that's the OAC spring season for you. But hey, at least some players got out there, got to have some seniors play their final games and stuff, so that's very cool that they had the opportunity to do that, but does not stop it from being a bizarre situation. And again, Case, they play in a very spread out conference, so for them to have a season like that, it just wasn't going to happen. And they did get a few exhibition games in. But the UAA is it's called the United Athletic Association. It's very spread out. So to have a season like Capital did where it was just conference, it doesn't work. I mean, here's the schools in the UAA. You got Washington University in Missouri, Emory College, which I believe is down in Georgia, Chicago, University of Chicago, Carnegie Mellon, which is in Pittsburgh, Case Western in Cleveland, New York University, Rochester in New York as well, and then Brandeis. And Brandeis is in Massachusetts. So you've got Missouri, Chicago, or Missouri, Illinois, I should say, Pennsylvania, New York, Massachusetts, Ohio. I mean, everyone is kind of represented there. And Emory's in Atlanta, Georgia. I was right there. So, 6 different states. It's impossible to get a season going in that kind of a conference. Especially as they start to loosen up some regulations on COVID and all of that. You still have the whole crossing state borders. Each state has their own rules, and it'd be a nightmare logistically as a yellow card is assessed to the Crusaders and Olivia Rotolo, who might be a little bit fed up with what's going on today. She's taken some physical abuse here. But yeah, again, just kind of a logistical nightmare. And as a result, they didn't really have a season. They played Walsh, I saw on their schedule. But again, none of these games were officially in there. It's kind of a weird stat-keeping situation because none of these games were officially wins. I think they were just exhibition games based on how I'm reading the Case site there. But they played Walsh and they played a couple of other schools in Ohio, and that was pretty much it. Be interesting to see how their schedule sets up with, again, a lot of travel there between the UAA there, especially for a school like Emory. It's down in Atlanta, and that can't be fun to travel all throughout the country to play your conference games. Corner kick coming for the Spartans. Rotolo comes off for the Crusaders now. Spartans go short again on the corner. Now they swing it in. There's a lot of net there. And White's able to get the ball that kind of pinballed around there off the foot of Ashley Jacobs. That could have been disastrous for Capital, but that ball just kept kind of bouncing around there, and they weren't able to find the back of the net, fortunately. So Capital lives to fight another day, still leading in this game, or still trailing in this game, but within shouting distance, down by just 1. Case has had a lot of pressure on Capital though here in the last few minutes. I haven't turned my head much to the other end of the field here. And Capital really needs to get something going. 22 minutes to play in this one. They do get it across midfield now. Thrown in on the far end. And Ryan playing up now a little bit aggressively too on this end of the field, but play's going to stay to the high side. Headed forward. A lot of bodies flying towards the ball there, but nothing happening with it. In Case now swings it down to this side. Here is Ryan. I told you playing up. And she's able to at least cause a bad pass, but now there's some potential here for Case. That's a great ball sent on by Sydney Shank, and it's going to lead to a goal kick, but an excellent pass from number 21, Shank there. Threading the needle, if you will. And it was actually Aaliyah Berletic who came out for the Crusaders. Again, some of these numbers hard to read. 10 and 20 there, the difference. Rotolo's still in there, and Stanishevska is in there with her. So both senior forwards out there now. And the co-captain's trying to link up or set up a teammate or something to tie this game up. Might be a chance here. Hart controls. Hart gets it. Nope, doesn't get it to Rotolo. Tried to. Case going the other way with it now. Shank has it on the outside. Shank weaving her way in. That's a great, great defense from Capital. Ryan not even close to getting a whistle there for a PK. A good tackle in the box. And now it's sent out in front of Stanishevska. Headed away. Woodruff is there to try to clean it up. And it's swung to the far end now. Knocked down by Cap in the midfield. Stanishevska to Woodruff. Drop back. Shuttler looking for some direction of where to go with it. And goes out wide. Nice stop and go move from Avery Hart. It's loose in the box. Swinging it on is Stanishevska, but it got knocked down on its way to the net. Knocked up in the air, I should say. And it was collected by the keep. So 19:20 to play. Something developing there for Cap, but not enough to threaten a goal. Time running low for Capital, but still plenty of time to find one more here. Tie this game up. Defense is held in strong. Pretty much one mistake, and Washburn and Hickson made Capital pay for it. That's the difference in the game right now. Both keepers on both sides have made good plays. Defense has been pretty solid both ways. But that one sequence was enough to give Case this lead. They're not sitting on it. They're trying to find one more. Oh, that ball got through in a touch. Capital, I think, tried an offside trap there, and I don't know what happened, but Brianna Van Zanten was right there. It hit her foot, and it didn't look like she put a lot of effort behind it, as if to say, it wasn't going to count anyway or something. It's very bizarre. Cap bringing in some reinforcements here, but first they have a counter going. Woodruff is out in front of everybody from the midfield. Ryan coming down to help, and Case is going to get it away. It looks like for Capital, Holly Barledge, Casey King will check in and try to find some offense. It looks like we'll also see Abby English, the freshman defender, as well. We haven't seen Lexi Snyder come back into this game since she came off with a little bit of a ginger step towards the sideline, but it looked like she was overall okay to come back in. Maybe we'll see her in the final bit of action here. She did play the entire first half, so maybe there's something to that in terms of the rotation. Here comes Case the other way. Shot on net, that's high, that's wide, and not really much of a threat. So here come the subs, a trio of Capital players, as I mentioned. Woodruff's going to come off. That seems to be the right move as Barledge replaces her. She is a little bit tired, I would say, as Woodruff. Now Ryan comes off, and Mia Gambasini now moves outside from the back position, and that is going to put English in the middle there with Moore, and maybe that's more the rotation we see, as Gambasini is more of an outside back. But then you have a freshman in the middle. There's a lot of juggling to do with this lineup, and we'll see what it looks like over the next few games here before OAC play. That starts up again in October. Case not letting the ball through easily here, forcing Capital to play some defense. King is playing as a defender as well here on the other side of the field. .38 to play. Holly Barledge, I should mention, the senior out of Milford, is also wearing that captain band across her right leg as well. So appears she's also a captain with Stanisowska and Rotolo, all seniors. I believe that's it in terms of captains on the squad. I haven't seen any other bands down there, and 3 sounds like the normal number there. Case clears it out of their own zone. That's going to go all the way through to White, and White will collect and give it to English now. Abby English to Gambasini. Mia finds Barledge, back to Gambasini. Upfield. Man, headed away. There was a good opportunity there. And it was knocked down with the head of the midfield from Case. Back the other way we go. Here is number 18, Annika Washburn. Washburn goes down hard. No whistle. Cap plays on. And trying to squeak it through the sideline there. They will. And finally kicked out of bounds. .14 minutes left to play in this one. Cap trying to get it out of their own end. Case doing a good job of holding it down here. Now they have a corner, which will also kill off some more clock. We have a substitution as well. And this kicks off some more clock as Sophia Stellabanti comes in. She's a freshman out of New York, New York. Trinity High School. Here's the corner. They play it short once again. Rolling it up the sideline. Or up the end zone line, I should say. Back to the sideline now, and Washburn has it. Washburn swings it in. Cleared away. Rotolo by herself up here, and a header from Greta Lazara keeps things going. Nice stop and go move here on the near sideline from Caroline Cortez. Ball is in the box. It goes right back out of the box. It goes back to the front of the box. A shot, and White makes the save. "12 minutes to play. And possession has kind of swung more overwhelmingly towards the other side in this one. And Capital, especially since conceding that goal, has not really threatened much here in the second half. And the question is, can they muster something here in the final 12 minutes? Snyder will come in for Capital, so that's good. Sign that she's okay. Was the OAC Freshman of the Year in the spring. And I believe that is Rotolo, who comes out, played pretty much this entire half. She did play this entire half and most of the first. The question becomes, what can Cap do here? They win the... Oh, no, that's a goal kick, excuse me. So possession will go the other way on the goal kick. Christina Hickson, the goal scorer, checks back in. And Hickson replaces, I believe that's Van Zanten, yes, coming off for Case. 10:45 to play, still 1-0 Case. And the goal kick is played short yet again. Stanisovska and Hart trying to contest this early on. Shuttler playing way up in the midfield too. And that ball is sent up to the near sideline now. Kicked upfield, up the hash line, knocked away by English. Good spin move from Barledge, taken away though. Cap gets it right back. Barledge again has it. Barledge trying to put it out in front of Stanisovska. It's cleared away by Case. Back to the midfield for Cap. And Barledge keeps it alive momentarily. Had to send it away down into the corner as far as she could. And Capital will have to reset now. Cases playing keep away now, kicked down to the near side of the field. Gambasini comes up, takes the ball away. Gambasini now absorbing some contact and now has to just kind of punch it upfield. It gets kicked out of bounds. Cleared away from the threat of the pressure up the middle, but it's going to be a corner kick again here. 8:32 to play. For Case taking their time here, trying to milk off a few extra seconds, and if they can find a goal here in the last 10 minutes, I think, like right here, this would definitely put this one out of reach for Cap. They're not scoring twice here in the last 8 minutes. But they could score once still. White takes the corner kick out of the air there, just grabbing it. Okay, let's see what the Cap can do here, if they can get creative in the final 8 minutes. White will punt it upfield. A big boot to midfield. Bounces a few times off the back of Hart. Stanisovska there. It goes all the way back to the keeper, and Storty plays it back down short to the right side of her. Case playing keep away from the midfield, and they send it to the high side of the field now. Someone making a run from the midfield there. And wise for Case to not make that pass, make the more high percentage pass. Good move from Cortez. Passed into the box. And dribbling out of the box now is Hickson, setting up Washburn, who kind of chipped at it. Actually, I'm sorry, that was Ashley Jacobs, who just kind of chipped one at net. Another minute had gone by, 7 minutes to play now. And still nothing for Capital to show for with that last minute. No possession really at all. Cap trying to get some pressure here. King gets it into the midfield. That's going to be the end of that sequence. Cleared away again. Case on the counter. Not much happening here. Washburn lets it go. It's going to go out of bounds. Washburn probably should have played that one. And she thought someone was there to get a touch on there. Gabby Huster will check in for the Crusaders. Shuttler comes off. She's played the whole half, so gets some fresh legs in there. And Huster a little bit more of an offensive midfielder. Thrown into midfield, and Case trying to send it back into Capitals territory. Nice moves by Gambasini. She wins the throw-in. I guess not. Case wins the throw-in. 5.5 minutes to play. Thrown in. Final 5 minutes here. Case has held the possession, especially here in the last 3 minutes. Capital hasn't even really had it across midfield under control. And now maybe an opportunity. Not quite. Played up the near sideline. Washburn with a full head of steam. It's going to go off of Case. 4:15 to play. And once again, possession one the other way. Chipped forward. Gambasini stops it with the back heel. Got pushed. There's the foul. Oof, if that one got by without a whistle. Fortunately, it didn't, so Capital has the free kick, and once again, nothing happens from it. Case sends it away. And now they have possession in Capital's territory. On the offensive attack. A fake pass, now a give and go, not on the same page. Hart has it. 3:15 to go. Trying to find something offensively. Stanisovska trying to find Huster. And that is not going to make it there. Case is not letting any pass into their back line. They're shutting everything down. And as a result, Capital really hasn't generated anything here in the final portion of this game. A lot of offensive firepower out there, but Case has done a nice job of keeping them quiet. Looking for a dagger now in the box. Cleared away by King. 2:40 to play. Hart has it. Hart had it. taken away once again. Comes all the way back down, saved for the moment by Gambasini, and then she kicks it right to Case. This is Meyer now, Mary Meyer into the box. Meyer keeps possession, keeps dribbling, keeps it alive, far post, and White recovers in time. Wow, Jacobs unable to finish on the far post there, was just hanging out. And an excellent ball by Meyer to get it there. White tried to jump the pass, couldn't get there in time, and then somehow gets back in front of the net in time. That is crazy. Excellent play by White. 2 minutes to play. Can Capital take advantage? A throw in on the far sideline. They catch a huge break. Probably should be 2-0 right now. On the far side. Chipped at the net. That's not going to do it. Hart sent it on, but it's recovered just nicely there by the goalkeeper, Storty, who, with under a minute and a half to play now, will take her time. Storty with the punt now. Cross midfield. Hits the head of Gambasini, goes to Case. And they'll try to find safety in the corner somewhere. That's going to go off of Gambasini's foot. And with 1:05 left, a sub will stop the clock. They changed that rule there so you can't just sub on the last few seconds of the game there and take away the last minute of play, basically. So got to earn it there. So that's why the clock stops. If you're confused by that, usually wouldn't see the clock stop in the last minute. 45 seconds to play now, though, and there still is some gamesmanship in terms of throwing the ball in and just kind of keeping it down in the corner. That's the goal right here in the last 40 seconds. Case playing keep away. Back down into the corner. Cortez has it. Cortez off the face of the defender. 20 seconds left to play. This ball is still not even live. And for Capital to go to the length of the field in 15 seconds, I don't think it's going to happen. They do have a goal kick. There's 9 seconds left. And you've got to kick this thing, White. 4 seconds to play. White gets it across midfield. That's not going to be enough. Case 1, Capital 0. Your final score. Christina Hickson finds the goal. One mistake, and they made him pay. Christina Hickson on the fine from Annika Washburn, and congrats to Case, as that's their first win since the 2019 season, officially in the books for them. And best of luck to them in the UAA this season. A high-quality opponent, and Capital hung right there with them. So I said at the start of the broadcast this was kind of a litmus test for this group, and I would say they passed, but again, just a little bit of a mix-up on that goal, and the one mistake cost them at least a chance at a draw or maybe extra time here at Bernlohr Field at Bernlohr Stadium. Well, again, OAC play starts up in October. October 2nd is the first matchup on the calendar, so we will hope to see you back for that, as well as some other broadcasts here in the fall season of Capital Athletics. Obviously, football, men's soccer in the mix as well. For all scheduling updates, make sure you head over to athletics.capital.edu